أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to the class again. It's a good sunny morning here in Reading, UK, and I hope it's also pretty nice at your side. Those who are joining from the Middle East or the Pakistan, India regions, Asian regions, South Asian or Middle Eastern region, they must be feeling quite warm. Um, but here it's quite okay. It went chilly, quite not chilly a few days back, but now it's pretty normal again. So I hope you guys are okay. All of you got a chance to dig into what we did last time. What we did last time is going to be used today, inshallah. And today is a topic that I want to run with you. And if we are successful in closing those topics, then we have covered the entire material that we shared with you, inshallah, alhamdulillah. Then we're done with the course material that you have. And anything beyond that, we would either construct the course material in the class or we will provide that to you if we have that available. Walaikum assalam. So I hope that you're quite comfortable with what we have done so far and everything, and also the lectures in case you've missed any, you've managed to cover up. So if you're okay with it, then we will inshallah be okay today as well. Today's topic is very interesting, but mashallah, inshallah, inshallah. So today's topic is very interesting, and today we are going to touch into the forbidding and the commanding using the fi'ils. It's quite an interesting topic and pretty easy, not too difficult, and it will open up loads of things for you, things that you don't know yet today. So inshallah, just stay with me, and we'll do a quick revision. We'll do a quick revision of what we have done previously. And inshallah, then we take it from there. So what I'll do is, as usual, I'll share my screen with you, and I will do a very quick run through of what we did yesterday. Okay, and if you have any questions on the exercises, please do let me know. I will try my best to answer. Yes, Talha, mashallah, we've covered whole course, but this is not the whole of our. This is a very big foundation that we have covered, mashallah. So the original plan was to close it by 29th of July. Now we're in September. That's okay because we decided that we just want to focus on quality, not quantity. But as far as we are comfortable with it, I think this is a very big achievement. Just go 2 months back. Just go 2 months back and see where we were, right? How much we understood, how much we could really understand. Now look at yourselves, and mashallah, you've done a fantastic job. You understand so much now. Inshallah, let's keep on going. Right. Let me share my screen with you, and we take it from there, inshallah. Okay. Yes, this is a blessing indeed. This is indeed a blessing. There were so many people who registered for the course, and it always happens. It's not like this is the first time. It always happens. Then when it comes to registering for a course, there's so many people who register for the course, and as the course progresses, people tend to drop out or not show up in the class or not progress or not cope up with the lesson for whatever reasons. They could be busy, they could be anything, but there are always few who remain, who just create the time if they don't have time, who just come forward and put that extra effort, that extra mile thing in the course, and they remain in the course, and ultimately they benefit as well. I usually think a thought comes to my mind is perhaps a short listing Allah does when He wants to give His blessings. that I want to give blessing more to and less to. He puts you to test, and whoever is so successful, he puts you more onto the blessing angle. Well, Allah knows best, alhamdulillah. So I think all of the people who join the course, who register for the course, have access to these recordings, and everyone has their own life and of course all their own problems and issues. So some of them really want to do, but they cannot do for whatever reason, their routines and stuff. And but alhamdulillah, the recordings are there. Whenever whenever you're ready, if you want to follow recording, just start. It is not this. It's never too late. Just start. Inshallah. Good. All right. So let's quickly do what we did last time. So what we did last time was the fi'il mudari mansub and the fi'il mudari majzoom, meaning light present tense fi'il and the lightest present tense fi'ils. And we did some rules which we revised yesterday as well. And in the yesterday's class, I gave you two things. I gave you harf nasibatul mudari, meaning the light present tense harfs that make present tense light, and harf jazimatul mudari, the harfs that make present tense lightest. Okay, so that's what we did, and we jumped into the exercise. We also did some Surah Falak yesterday, but I hope you got a chance to review it. Let's construct this harfs again. So today's topic is an important topic, and I want to focus on that. So let's quickly construct the harfs again that we did yesterday. So the light present tense harf nasibatul mudari. Why is it called nasibatu? Because it makes the present tense nasab, mansub, right? It makes the present tense mansub. In this case, if a present tense is mansub, it's not about the status of a fi'l. Just keep that in mind, right? It's just called mansub. Just called mansub. Okay. So we did about 5 hurufs here. 5 hurufs. The first one was an, and then we had lan, lan. Then we had likay, and then we had izan, and then we had hatta. Okay? Hatta. An, lan, likay, izan, hatta. That's what we had. Okay? 5 hurufs. And let's see if you remember the meaning. We said an is 2. An is 2. Correct, Talha. Exactly. An is 2. It is used as a connector. Okay? It is used as a connector. Like I want to eat. I want to run. I want to read. Okay? It's a connector. It's used as a connector. Then we had lan. Lan was will not. It's kind of a negation. Yes. Correct. It's will not. Okay? Will not. Likay was so that, and likay has 3 forms. Likay could come as li, as a standalone li. It could come as kai, or it could come as full-blown likay. Right? It could come as either way. Right? So one of these 3 forms could be likay. Correct. Correct. Right? And then we had izan. Izan was in that case. In that case. Okay? And izan had another form. It could be written differently, like this. Izan. Could be written like izan. Keep in mind, izan is not iza. Iza ja'a nasrullahi wal fath. That's different iza. Izan is not iza. Okay? Iza is when. Iza is a separate harf. Don't confuse it with izan or izan. Both forms of izan, right? It's a separate harf. That means when. Izan means in that case. Don't confuse it. All right? So students tend to confuse it a bit. That's why I'm telling you. Hatta, you already know it means until. It means until. Okay? So these were the hurufs we did yesterday. Harf nasibatul mudare. Okay. Now these hurufs, whenever they come before a present tense, they would always usually come before a present tense. They would always make the present tense mansub, meaning liked. They would always make a present tense mansub. That means if the present tense was ending with a dhamma, it would make it fatha. If it was ending with a noon, it would remove the noon. Hunna and antunna will not change. Okay? Correct. Hunna and antunna is not gonna change. They remain the same in the marfu form, mansub form, and madzum form, meaning normal, light, and lightest form. Okay? Remains the same. These were the hurufs we did yesterday, effectively, for light present tense harf. Yes. Okay. Now, then we had another one. Then we have harf jazimatul mudari, meaning the hurufs that make a present tense majzum. They make the present tense majzum. Okay, majzum means lightest. They make the present tense lightest. Okay, so there were 4 hurufs we did here. 4 hurufs we did here. 4 hurufs we did here, and they were in, lam, lamma, in, lam, lamma, fal, fal, li. There's only li written in your notes, but I ask you to remember it as wal, fal, and li. Okay, wal, fal, and li. It's just one harf. Waw and fa in the beginning are connectors. Okay, waw is a connector, meaning and fa is a connector, meaning then or so. But they are sometimes attached to this harf. So this harf loses this haraka, which is the kasra. Okay, so in that case, it is pronounced as wal and fal. Right. So just consider it as wal fal li. 3 forms. Correct. Correct. Wal fal li. So in means if. In means if. It can be used with the present tense and the past tense. Can be used with present and past tense. Both. Okay? Can be used with present tense and past tense. Okay? It's like because it means if, it is usually used to construct conditions. If then conditions. Okay? Like if I run, I will arrive there quickly. If I run, then I will arrive there quickly. That is a condition with a present tense. But I could do the same with the past tense. If I ran, then I would have arrived there quickly. Okay? So that's a condition with the past tense, right? So conditions can be connected with present and the past. So in, therefore, can be used with present. Okay? Lam means did not. Lam means did not. It's only used with the present tense. It's only used with the present tense, and it pushes the meaning of a present tense in the past tense, in the past. Only used with present, pushes the meaning into past. For example, he did not help. He did not help. Okay? He did not help. In this case, help is present tense, but did not comes from lam. Okay? Like we looked at an example, lam yalid walam yulad. Lam yalid walam yulad. Okay? Then lamma. Lamma means not yet. Oops. Not yet. Now, lamma can be used with the present tense and a past tense too. It means not yet when used with present tense. When used with present tense. When used with past tense, it means when. Means when means when if used with past tense. Means when if used with past tense. So only the in and the lamma, they're used with the past tense. Only the in and the lamma are used with the past tense. Okay? And the final one was wal falli. It just means should. Just means should. Okay? Means should. And that's it. When these hurufs come in front of the past present tense, in front of the present tense, not the past tense, they make it majzoom, lightest. So if in comes or lamma comes before a past tense, will it make it lightest? No, it will not. There is no change on the past tense because the concept of a fail being mansoob or majzoom, light or lightest, exists in the present tense. Okay, it does not exist in the past tense. I think in Surah Fajr, Wal Fajr, I don't know if you remember the number of the surah, it's a harf of jar. It's a harf of jar. Which number is the surah? Do you know the surah number, Talha? Or I could just type Wal Fajr. Yes. So look at Al Fajri. It's jar. It's jar. And if you look at the translation, it's oath by the dawn. Wal Fajri. Yeah. It's harf of jar. All right. No worries. Okay, so are we good with these harfs? Are we good with these concepts? Can I move forward? Give me one if you're fine. Give me one if you're fine. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll move to the next page. And inshallah, we'll start the new topic from the next page. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay. So today, what we are going to do is start the topic of forbidding and commanding. Forbidding and commanding. Okay. Let's see how much we can cover. My hope is that we can cover both, but let's see. Okay. So forbidding and commanding. Now, forbidding and commanding. Before we start with this topic, what I want us to understand is that we have been doing two types of fi'ils, right? So some context. Let's establish some context. Context. Okay. So what we have done is, let me insert a table. Okay. So what we have done is we have actually done two types of fi'ils. We have done the fi'il madi. We have done the fi'il madi, which is the past tense fi'il, and we have done the fi'il mudari. We've done the fi'l mudari. Okay. These are the two types of fi'ls. Fi'l madi is the past tense, and fi'l mudari is the present tense. Okay. Present slash future. That's what we have done so far. Okay. Within the fi'l mudari, we have done another category of fi'l. We have done fi'l mudari mansub, right? Fi'l mudari mansub, which is the light present tense. Light present tense. Okay. We have done another category, which is fi'l mudari majzoom, which is the lightest present tense. All right. In fi'l madi, we haven't done the concept of fi'l mudari mansub or fi'l mudari majzoom. We have not done it. It does not exist here. It does not exist here. It's not applicable. It's not applicable. Not applicable. Okay? Not applicable. Okay? Today, what we're going to do, we're going to do another two derivations from the fi'l mudari concept. So two derivations from the fi'l mudari concept. One is called fi'l nahi. Fi'l nahi, which is forbidding. Okay. And another one which is called fi'l amr. Fi'l amr, which is commanding. Okay, which is commanding. So we have done these two on top. These two are done. Okay. So which color do you want? Okay, so let me just label them like this. Okay. So we have done all of these. Fi'l mudari mansub, fi'l mudari majzoom we have done. We're starting with the fi'l nahi and the commanding, fi'l amr. Okay, these are the two different categories of the fi'l mudari. Okay. In the past tense, the fi'l nahi does not apply. Does not apply. You cannot forbid anyone in the past tense, or you cannot command in a past tense. Can you? Can you try to construct a command in a past tense? You cannot construct a command in the past tense. It does not make sense. And you also cannot forbid someone in the past tense. Something that has happened, you cannot forbid it in the past tense. You can always forbid it in the present or the future, right? And the same story with the fi'l amr, the commanding. You cannot command someone in the past tense. It will not work. Can I say someone, if I want a child to run, can I say ran? I cannot command him to ran, right? It doesn't make sense. Sounds funny. I would say run, present tense. Run, which is the present tense, right? Same is the case with the forbidding. If I want to stop someone from doing something, I won't say, don't ran or did not ran. This is not forbidding. It doesn't make sense, right? It only makes sense in the present tense. Don't run. Don't run. Then that's when it's going to make sense. So these concepts do not really apply to the past tense. This is the context I wanted to establish, because you're getting introduced to a lot of terminology. There's a mansub, majzoom, then nahi, then amr. You need to know where they fall, right? Where they fall. They fall under the fi'l mudari concept, right? The present and future tense concept, not in the fi'l madi concept. Okay. While the jumla fi'liya and jumla fi'liyas fall in both. Jumla fi'liya falls in both. I can make it visible, just so we are aligned on this. So if I just say jumla fi'liya, jumla fi'liya. Okay, jumla fi'liya applies to both. Okay, not just one. The concepts of jumla fi'liya applies to both. Inside doer, outside doer, fi'il, fa'il, maf'ul, muta'alliq bil fi'il, all of that stuff applies to both. Okay, fi'il based sentences. Okay, this is what we have done. This is where we are. Okay, so now that we have established this context, I'm going to pick up the fi'il nahi first. The fi'il nahi first, forbidding. Okay, and then we'll see, time permitting, if we can do commanding, we'll do commanding too. Fi'il nahi and fi'il amr, both are used quite widely in the Quran, a lot in the Quran. You recite them every day too. Okay, so we'll see some examples that will help you, inshallah, understand. Okay. So based on what I have listed up there, let's try to construct some observations. On the next page. Okay. Some observations before we start. Okay. Observation number 1. You cannot forbid or command in past tense. Okay? You cannot forbid or command in past tense. That has to be clear, right? You cannot forbid or command in past tense. It does not make sense, right? Observation number 2. You cannot forbid or command yourself. You cannot forbid or command yourself. Okay? You cannot forbid or command yourself. So command is usually some sort of an order that you give to someone to carry out some specific kind of an action, right? Right? And forbidding is something that you use, that you say to someone to prevent someone from carrying out an action. If someone is doing an action, forbidding is you telling him not to do it. And commanding, if there is an action, commanding is you telling him to do it. You understand? Understand? So you don't command and forbid yourself. You need someone to command and forbid too, right? You just don't. I know in the reality of a situation, to motivate, for example, a sportsman trying to defeat the competition, yes, but this is more emotional way of saying things, not the linguistic way of saying things. If you don't command and forbid, right? But from the emotional, energetic, and motivational perspective, people use this kind of behaviors, but they are not part of the formal linguistic grammar terminologies and grammar arenas of the linguistics. Okay, so you don't command, forbid from the language perspective to yourself. That's the second observation you need to keep in mind. Okay. You cannot command or forbid, you cannot forbid or command someone who's not there. Who's not there. How can you command someone or forbid someone who's not there? Would you be standing to the wall and talking to wall to forbid something? No. You need some person, right? Some person, some entity, some dog, for example, if you have a pet, say, don't run, tiger, whatever you call it. So you need that dog or you need that person in front of you, with you somewhere, right? To command or to forbid. If there's no one there, you cannot command and forbid anyone, right? If you're alone, standing alone, how would you command and forbid? That's the third thing. Just keep in mind. Okay? Okay? The fourth point. The fourth point, grammatically, command isn't always a command. Isn't always a command. Okay? For example, let me give you an example. I'm quite demotivated with my teacher who teaches me Arabic. Okay? So, oh my God, what teacher I've got. I don't think I'm gonna pass, right? I don't have a good teacher. And you talk about that to your teacher too. You go to your teacher and say, hey, you're not a good teacher. I don't think I'm gonna pass. Teacher says, okay, go and fail. Okay, go and fail. Or rather, go fail. Okay? Teacher says, okay, go fail. In this case, this go fail is a command, right? Grammatically, go fail. You're ordering someone to do something. But effectively, this is not a command. This is more kind of a sarcasm, right? The teacher is kind of doing a sarcasm with you. It's not a command as such. He's not really asking you to go and fail literally. He's just making you realize that, oh, I don't care really. You're not doing enough, right? It's more of a sarcasm. Same story with, for example, I come to you I say, hey Toha, I want to buy this car. Should I buy it? Should I buy it? And you say, go buy. Go buy. Okay? In this case, this go buy it's grammatically seem like a command, but it's effectively a suggestion, isn't it? It's a suggestion. It's a suggestion or recommendation. It's not really a command, right? Right? You with me? So the commands, though constructed in the same way, but from contextual perspective, they may not be commands. So sometimes you will find a fi'l that looks like a command, and you will call it a command. You'll say it's a fi'l amr, but the meaning and the meaning and the context behind it would not be a literal order. Right? It's not going to be an order. It can be a sarcasm. It can be a suggestion, right? It can be something else. Okay, but it's not generally a command. Okay. On the contrary, you could just have a normal command. Say eat. Eat, which is a command that you give to, let's say, a child if he's not eating. Say eat now. So that's a command. That's literally a command. And we'll do, inshallah, when we do the command, you will understand all of this. So these are just observations. Keep them in mind. Okay. So forbidding is generally easier than the commanding, because for forbidding, you can just say, no, don't do this, don't, just one word, don't or no. With commanding, you need a specific order to be placed on. Okay? So if we are clear with these observations, if you're fine with it, I'll jump into the forbidding. Forbidding is very easy. Any questions so far on this? Anything bothering you? Anything confusing you? Let me write the fifth statement as well. Forbidding is generally easier than command. For example, just saying no, 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 to stop someone from doing it. Okay? Commands usually require more instruction. Commands usually require more instruction. In forbidding, you can just say no without explaining anything. You can just say no. For example, if there's a teacup on the table and there's a little baby who is just going to the teacup and is going to spill the tea, what would you say? No. You just say no like that, right? It's just no. You don't need to explain anything further. You just say no to distract the child, right? But for command, you may need to give a bit more instructions because you want someone to follow some specific orders. Okay? Let's keep these observations in your mind, inshallah. Okay? Good. So inshallah, let's start with the forbidding. Forbidding, which is fi'il nahi. Which is fi'il nahi. Is fi'il nahi. There is a very, very simple formula. There is a very, very simple formula to construct a forbidding statement. Very simple formula. Let me write that formula here with you. It's la. First you have a la. La means no or not. Okay? La ilaha, la raiba. Okay? Plus second person lightest. Second person lightest. La plus second person lightest. La plus second person lightest. This is your formula for constructing a forbidding statement. This is your formula for constructing a forbidding statement. Okay? La plus second person lightest. That's it. If you had not done the fi'il mudari majzoom, the present tense lightest, you could not construct forbidding, right? You could not construct forbidding. Formula for constructing a forbidding statement. Okay? Here's the formula for constructing a forbidding statement. La plus second person lightest. What does that mean? What does that mean? What you need to do is whenever you have a fi'il, you need to first move it to a second person and then make it lightest. And then make it lightest. For example, there is a fi'il called yazhabu. Yazhabu. Yazhabu means to go. Yazhabu means to go. Oh, sorry, not to go. He goes. He goes. Okay? Yes. Yes, the second person talha. Let's construct this example and then we'll come to the tansuru bit, right? So yazhabu means he goes. Now, what do I have in this formula? I have a la. One element is la. Let me just color code it. One element is la. The second element is lightest. And the third element is second person, right? Second person. Okay? These three things is what we need to achieve. These things is what we need to achieve. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take yazhabu. I'm going to take yazhabu. Yazhabu. Or rather do it that way. I'm going to take yazhabu. I'm going to make it second person. Second person. Second person. Okay? That would become tazhabu. That would become tazhabu. After making it a second person, I have to make it lightest, which is tazhab, tazhab. And then I add an Allah to it. La tazhab. La tazhab. Okay? La tazhab. La tazhab would mean, la tazhab would mean don't go. Don't go. That's a forbidding statement. Okay? Don't go. Not yazhab. Tazhab. Okay? Tazhab. That will mean don't go. Okay? Just keep in mind. Remember the observations. Remember the observations that I told you up there. Remember the observations. If you look at the observation number 2, so let me elaborate on this. You cannot forbid and command in the past tense. So the past tense is not applicable. Is not applicable. Okay? Past tense is not applicable here. So when you're constructing forbidding and commanding, you do not think in past tense. Okay? You don't think in past tense. Let me just change the color because we have another one here. Let me just move it red. Okay? Past tense is not applicable. Okay? You cannot forbid yourself or you cannot command yourself, meaning the pronouns, ana and nahnu are not applicable. Are not applicable. Okay? Because both are first-person pronouns, aren't they? The first-person pronouns. You cannot forbid yourself. You cannot forbid in the first person, right? In the first person. Yeah. So these are not applicable. You will never have a forbidding or command in a first person. Okay? You cannot forbid someone who's not there. You cannot forbid someone who's not there. This would mean the pronouns, all the third person pronouns are not applicable. Are not applicable. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. Not applicable. Okay? Right? Third person is not there, right? Or not necessarily there, if I put it that way. Okay? There are exceptions to it, which I will discuss later on in the course, not yet, okay? There are exceptions to be discussed in advanced lectures. Okay? Let's keep that in mind. Okay, there are some exceptions that I will discuss in some courses to come, in some lectures to come. Okay, but generally you don't have any third person pronoun as a forbidding or a commanding. You don't have past tense in forbidding or commanding. You don't have ana and nahnu as first persons in forbidding and commanding. So what are you left with? You don't have a third person, you don't have a first person, you're left with a second person. So you always have a second person. You always have a second person, and that's why the formula says la plus second person lightest. Okay? La plus the second person lightest. Okay? Yes. Yes. So let's construct another one. Let's construct another one. Yansuru, you were saying, Yansuru. Yansuru would first become second person, which is Tansuru. Tansuru. Tansuru would then become lightest, which is Tansur. And then we're going to add La in front. La Tansur. Okay? La Tansur, which would mean don't help. Don't help. Okay? La Tansur. Correct. Okay? Yasma'u. Yasma'u. Yasma'u is to listen, to hear. To hear, to listen. Okay? Yasma'u would first become the second person, which is Tasma'u. Tasma'u. From the second person, it will become the lightest, which is Tasma. Tasma. And from there, you would put a La in front of it. La Tasma. Okay? That would mean don't, oops. Don't listen. Or don't hear. Okay? Is that clear? It's easy, isn't it? It's easy, it's interesting, it's nothing magical. But it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. Okay? Now, this is a typical forbidding statement. This is a typical forbidding statement. Okay? If I have another one, let's say taktubna. Let's say taktubna. Taktubna. Taktubna means, sorry, yaktubna, not taktubna. Yaktubna. What do you think taktubna is? It's coming from kataba. Kataba is to write. Kataba yaktubu. Kataba yaktubu. It's coming from yaktubu. Kataba yaktubu. Let me write it here. It comes from yaktubu. The Hua version is the yaktubu. Yaktubna. Yaktubna. Which pronoun is it? Which pronoun is it? Can you find it? Pronoun. Yaktubna. Yaktubu, yaktubani, yaktubuna. Taktubu. Taktubani, yaktubna. Yaktubna. Isn't this Hunna version? Isn't this Hunna version? Not Anti, not Anti, not Anti. Anti starts with a ta. Anti starts with a ta. I'm talking about yaktubna. It starts with a ya. Right? Starts with a ya. It's a Hunna version, right? It's a Hunna version. So if I have to, it's a plural feminine Hunna. It means multiple feminine writing, to write. If you want to forbid multiple ladies to write, what would you say? You would take yaktubna. Yaktubna means they write, meaning they plural feminine, write. Okay, what you would do, you will first change it to the second person, taktubna, and you would make it lightest. What is the lightest form of taktubna? What is the lightest form of taktubna? No, and that's a catch. Remember, the hunna and antunna does not change. The hunna and antunna does not change in any form. Remember the rule we did yesterday? The hunna and antunna will not change. So taktubna will remain taktubna as a lightest form as well as the light form. They're same in the marfu, mansub, or majzoom form, right? Correct. We don't change it. We don't change it. It just remains the same, right? So then we have taktubna again, which is now the lightest form, and then we will add la to it. La taktubna. Okay? La taktubna. That will mean don't write. Okay? Don't write. This is feminine plural. This is feminine plural. Okay? Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Let's do tata'allamuna. 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 Okay? Yata'allamuna. Yata'allamuna. It means they learn. They learn. It's a hum version, masculine plural version, hum. Yata'allamuna. Yata'allamuna. What I do first, we change it to the second person, which becomes tata'allamuna. Okay? And then we make it lightest. We make it lightest. How do I make it lightest? How do I make it lightest? Because it is not ending with a dhamma, it is ending with a una ending, the noon, I would just remove the noon. And when I remove the noon and I'm left with the vav, I would put an extra alif because of the spelling thing, right? Remember? Tata'allamu, tata'allamu. This is how I will make it lightest. And then I would put la in front of it. La tata'allamu. La tata'allamu. Correct. Don't learn. Okay? Don't learn. It's easy, right? It's not too difficult. But let me give you another thing. Let me construct an example. Um, for example, Let me construct an example. So what we have done are forbiddings. This is all forbidding, but sometimes forbidding is also an observation. Let me explain you what that means. It could be an observation or a statement, but not really a forbidding. For example, let me give you an example. You could say, there's one way of saying don't write, or you don't write books. What is the difference between the two statements? Don't write and you don't write books. What is the difference between the two statements? Do you see a difference? The first one is a forbidding statement. It's a forbidding statement. No, it's a forbidding statement. The first one is a forbidding statement. The second one is not forbidding someone from doing anything, right? If someone was writing and you go to him and say, don't write, you're forbidding him or preventing him from writing. But in the second one, you're giving a point of view, right? You're giving a point of view or a statement. You're not necessarily stopping someone from writing anything, right? You say, you don't write books. I don't think you do. You don't write books. It's more of an observation or a statement. Okay? It's an observation or a statement. It's a normal statement. It's not forbidding, right? But both look exactly the same in English. But in Arabic, you can differentiate them. You can differentiate them. When you make a forbidding statement of you don't write, what you would do, you would say taktubu. Taktubu. Taktubu means you write. Okay, it's an anta word. Taktubu. Okay, and you make it a forbidding statement by making it lightest first and then putting a la in front of it. It would become la taktub. Yes, la taktub. Yes, this is going to be your forbidding statement. Yes, that's your forbidding statement. This means don't write. Don't write. Okay, forbidding statement. But in this case, in the case of an observation, you would not follow exactly the same process. It's a slightly different process, and it is a very subtle difference. Let me tell you what that is. Okay? La I want them on the same page. Wait a second. Now, in this case, don't write. Let me make it blue. And la taktubu. What is the difference? What is the difference in both? The one above and the one below. What is the difference? La taktub and la taktubu. What is the difference? The second one, yes, the first one is lightest. The second one is not. The first one is lightest. The second one is not. Right? So you can have negating statements. where you don't find a fail which is the lightest one, right? You have a normal fail, but there is a la attached to it. In that case, that is not forbidding. It's just an observation or a statement. You will find this in the Quran. So when you see Allah, just don't blindly label it as forbidding. Look for the state of the fail. Is it the majzoom? Is it normal? Is it marfu? What is the state? When you know the state of the fail, only then you can conclude if it is a forbidding or not. Okay? So there are many observations. There are many observations used in the Quran. Okay? Sometimes you will find la in front of fails which are not second person. Which are not second person. Let me give you a good example. I'll give you a good example. This will open up this surah for you, inshallah. Let's analyze this a bit. Yeah, la is just a harf in the statement below. Here, la is just a harf. Yeah, it's a negating harf. It just brings in the meaning of don't. Okay, here, no or don't or not. La raiba, for example. It's used with ism in that case. Okay, but sometimes it's also used with the fail, which is not lightest. In that case, it's just a harf and used for constructing these observations statements. Okay, let's look at this example. Qul ya ayyuhal kafiruna. Qul ya ayyuhal kafiruna. I want you to look at this one. La a'budu. La a'budu. La a'budu. So now there is la and there is a'budu. What is a'budu? Just analyze it a bit. What is a'budu? Is it a present tense? It's a present tense ana form. It's a present tense ana form, and we said forbidding does not happen in ana and nahnu in the first person. But why then there is a la here? Why then there is a la here? Okay. So when I look closely, it's a'budu, and it's also not lightest, is it? It's not lightest. It's just a'budu. It's not ta'bud. It's not ta'bud. Not nansur, ansur. Ansuru. It's ansuru. Yes, it's ansuru. It's ana. And then there is a la attached to it. La a'budu means I do not worship. It's not forbidding. It's just a statement. Right? It's just a statement. I do not worship what you worship. I do not worship what you worship. Look at the translation. Ma means what or whatever, and ta'buduna you should be able to tell. Ta'buduna is the second person plural, antum. Ta'buduna. It's like ya'buduna. Yes? Like yansuruna, tansuruna. This is like ta'buduna. What you all worship. I do not worship what you all worship. So this la a'budu is just a statement. Yes? Opening up for you? Yes. Okay. Inshallah. Okay, good. So if that's clear, let me quickly go to your notes on page number 49. On page number 49. You have everything here. All the observations that I've mentioned are written here. Okay, all the observations that I've mentioned. No, ma is not a harf. We have not done ma yet. It's an ism mausul. Talha. We'll do it, inshallah. Okay. It's not a harf. It's a full-blown ism. We'll do it after we have done the fi'l studies. Okay, because this is an ism that goes along with the fi'l quite tightly. So you need to understand fi'l first before you can do ism mawsul. Yeah? Okay, so in your notes, you will have all these observations that I've mentioned. You will have the formula written here as well. La plus second person lightest in the present tense. And you have some examples as well. Okay. The process, make the fail go into the second person first, then make it lightest, and then put a la in front of it. Okay, that will give you the forbidding statement. Then there are some additional examples. Don't eat. There's a normal form of a verb, marfu. There's a lightest form, which is mansub, and there's a forbidding form, which is fi'il nahi. Okay, which is fi'il nahi. Okay, so we started with ta'kulina. We made it light by saying ta'kuli because we removed the noon from the end. We removed the noon from the ending. Okay, we removed the noon from the ending. It's ta'kuli. Okay, and then we said la ta'kuli. That makes it the fi'il nahi, meaning forbidding statement. Okay. Don't learn. We constructed these two examples in the class just now. Tata'allamuna, we took out the noon, we made it tata'allamu, and then we put Allah in front of it. La tata'allamu. Okay? And then taktubna, we could not take anything out because the hunna and antunna version remains the same. So the lightest form looks exactly the same. And we just put the la in front of it. Okay? And the difference between the forbidding statement and a normal statement or observation is here as well. So these are the examples we just constructed. La taktubu, where you don't have the lightest form, and here in the forbidding you have the lightest form. Okay? So if you don't see a lightest form, it's not a forbidding statement. Okay? All right, any questions? Okay. Okay, great, excellent. So we're done with the forbidding. That's it. That's forbidding. Okay, I've told you all about forbidding that you need to know. Okay, if there's anything more, we'll inshallah do it later on. There's a lot more about negating sentences and forbidding. But we'll do that inshallah in our advanced classes. Okay, not in this class. So now let me jump on to the commanding. Once you have understood the forbidding, commanding should not be that difficult for you. Okay? It should not be that difficult. Okay? So there is a process to a command construction. There's a process to a command construction that I'm going to give you. Okay? And listen to me carefully, and then we'll construct some examples. Okay? As we said, remember the observations here on top? These observations, 5 observations, they apply to commanding and forbidding both. So there's no past tense, there's no ana and nahnu, and there is no third person, right? There's no third person. The commanding forbidding only happens in the second person. Only happen in the second person. Okay? So how would you do it? When you see a fail, okay? Commanding, constructing a command, okay? Process of constructing command. Okay. Step number one. Start with the second person present tense. Start with the second person present tense fi'l. Okay. If you have a fi'l which is not in the second person, bring it in the second person. Meaning anta, antuma, antum. anti, antuma, antunna. That's it. These 6. Okay. Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. Make the fi'l come into the second person. Okay. That's the step number 1. Step number 2, make the fi'l lightest, just like you did with the forbidding. Make the fi'l lightest. You are also starting with the second person lightest. Okay, second person lightest. Okay. Step number 3, if you can read it, I'll explain this. If you can read it, then leave it alone. Done. Done. Okay. If you can read it, then leave it alone. You're done. Okay, that's your command. Oh no, sorry, you're not done. Then leave it alone. Sorry, you're not done yet. There's one more step. Okay. In fact, there's a step before it that I forgot. So sorry for confusing you. The step 1 is start with the second person present tense fi'l. The step 2 is make the fi'l lightest. The step 3 is remove the ta. Remove the ta from the fi'l. Okay, remove the ta from the fi'l. Let me be a bit more specific. Remove the first ta. There may be multiple tas. First ta from the fi'l, and then if you can read it, then leave it alone. And then if you can read it, then leave it alone. You are done. Now that's fine. Okay, you're done. 4 steps. 4 steps. Start with the second person present tense. Make it lightest. Once it is lightest, remove the tha. Remove the tha. And if you can read it, then leave it alone. All right? If you can read it, then read it alone. Leave it alone. Let me construct an example. Let me construct an example. Let's take the same example. Let's say yazhab. Yazhabu. Yazhabu. Okay? Yazhabu means to go. He goes. He goes. Okay? So first step, start with the second person present tense. The second person present tense would be tazhabu. Tazhabu, just like in the forbidding case. Then you make it lightest. This would mean tazhab. This would mean tazhab. Okay? And then what you do is you remove the first ta. You remove the first ta. Okay, so when you remove the first ta, it's going to become zal, ha, and ba. Is a sukoon on the zal. Is a sukoon on all the zals here, right? Now tell me, the 4th condition, can you read it? Can you read it? Can you read it? How would you read this? There's a sukoon on the first letter. You cannot make a za, z, or zu sound, right? Is it? No, you cannot read it. So your 4th statement does not apply here. If you can read it, then leave it alone. Contrary to this, if I just had, for example, ya'lamu. Ya'lamu. Ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim, that you read. Okay? Ya'lamu. I would make It's like to learn, right? To know. If I would make it a second person, I would say ta'lamu. And then I would make it lightest. No, I'm again taking a similar example. Let me make another example. Yes, if I take yu'allimu, yu'allimu. Sorry, yu'allimu, right? Yu'allimu is mean he teaches. He teaches. Okay, he teaches. I would make it a second person first. It's going to become tu'allimu. Tu'allimu. Then I'm going to make it lightest. It's going to become tu'allim. Right? And then I'm going to remove the ta. It's going to become allim. Can I read this? Can I read allim? Allim. There is no sukun in the beginning, right? I can read it, right? Allim. So my fourth step applies. If you can read it, then leave it alone. You're done. That's your command. Allim would mean teach. Teach. Okay? Allim would mean teach. But the other one, Zahaba case, yazhabu, tashab, and then I'm stuck with the zal and the ha and a ba. I don't know where to go, right? And for that, we have a step 5. For that, we have a step 5. Okay? The step 5 is if you cannot read it, then give it a helper alif. We call it helper alif. Then give it a helper alif. Is something which is called a helper alif, right? What I'm calling here. So what that means is I cannot read it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a helper alif to it. I'm going to add alif in the beginning, and I'm going to keep everything intact like that. Okay? Now, can you read it now? Can you read it now? Now, I seem to be reading it, but I have a confusion. The confusion is, how should I read it? Is it uzhab? Is it azhab? Or is it izhab? Which haraka should I give to the helper alif? Okay? Is it going to be a fatha? Is it going to be dhamma? Or is it going to be a kasra? What is it going to be? What is it going to be? Right? That's the second thing that I need to answer. Okay? No. It's not about rafa nasab jar, Talha. This is a fi'il. Rafa nasab jar does not apply to fi'il. It's a haraka. I think you meant haraka. The dhamma, fatha, and the kasra. Yes? Yeah. I thought so. So dhamma, fatha, and kasra. Yes. Until you know the haraka, you don't know how to read it. Yes. Now as part of the step 5, you need to detect which haraka would you give to this fi'il, to this alif. Okay. And here's the process for that. Here's what you need to do for that. As part of the step 5. Okay? You go back to the huwa form of this fi'il. Go back to the huwa form of this fi'il. Okay? Go back, let me just write it here. Go back to the huwa form of the fi'il. Okay? Go back to the huwa form of the fi'il. What is the huwa form of the fi'il? In this case, it's yazhabu, isn't it? This is the yazhabu. The huwa form is yazhabu. Okay? Yazhabu. I go back to the huwa form of the fi'l. Okay. Now, in the huwa form, I am going to check what is the haraka on the second to last letter. If ba is the last letter, what is the second to last letter? Ha. Ha. Ha is the second to last letter. I'm going to check the haraka on the second to last letter. Okay. This haraka I'm interested in. What is the haraka on the ha? What is the haraka on the ha? Okay. This is what I'm interested in. All right. So you first go back to the fi'l, and you, which is the huwa form of that fi'l. Regardless, whichever form you constructed the command in, you go back to the huwa form of that fi'l. And that's why those charts are important. That's why you need to know those charts. Okay. You go back to the huwa form and you look at the second to the last letter. You look at the second to the last letter. Okay. Which is the ha in this case. Which is the ha in this case. Okay. If the haraka on the second to the last letter in huwa form is dhamma, if the haraka on the second to the last letter in huwa form is dhamma, okay, then give the helper alif a dhamma. Then give the helper alif a dhamma. Okay, that's straightforward. If ha in the yazhabu form, if ha was a dhamma, then I would give a helper alif a dhamma. Okay, that's what I'm saying here. If the haraka on the second to last letter in huwa form is dhamma, then give the helper alif a dhamma. Otherwise, give the helper alif a, and you're done. Okay, and you're done. In the command, you will never have, unless there's an exception, you will never have a fatha on the helper alif. Okay, there may be a few exceptions that we will do later on, but vastly, in most of the cases, majority, 95-98% of time, you would either have a dhamma or you have a kasra. So in this case, in the case of yazhabu, what do we have? What do we have? We have a fatha. Is it a dhamma? No. So the point B does not apply. The 5B does not apply. Okay. So the 5C applies. So because it's not a dhamma, I'm going to go and give this helper alif a kasra. Izhab. Izhab. Okay. You see that? All right. Let's construct another example. Let's construct another example. For example, I say I have yansuruna. Yansuruna. Okay. Yansuruna is a home form. Home form, right? I'm going to make it tansuruna first. Second person. Tansuruna. Okay. And then I'm going to make it lightest. How do I make it lightest? I say tansuru. Tansuru. I made it lightest. I've done the first two steps. I've started with the second person and I've made the fi'l lightest. Now I'm going to do the step 3, which is remove the ta. I'm going to remove the ta. Then I have a noon and suru. Step number 4. Can I read it? No, I cannot read it because there is a sukoon on the noon. I just cannot read it. Okay. Because I cannot read it, I'm going to give it a helper alif. Okay. Alif, and then the remaining thing remain the same. Okay. Now, I'm on step 5. I cannot read it. Therefore, I have given it a helper alif. Now, I need to find the haraka on the helper alif. For that, what do? I go back to the huwa form of the fi'il. Now, you tell me, what is the huwa form of yansuruna? What is the huwa form of yansuruna? It's yansuru, isn't it? It's yansuru, isn't it? The huwa form. I'm after the huwa form, not the form the fail was given to me in. That's not the form I'm after. It's yansuru. I go back, I'm doing the 5a. Go back to the huwa form of the fail. Now 5b. If the haraka on the second to last letter in huwa form is dhamma, then give the helper alif a dhamma. What do we have here? What is the second to last letter? Last letter is ra, and the second to last letter is sad. Does it have a dhamma? Yes, it does have a dhamma. So I'm going to give the helper alif a dhamma. Unsuru. Unsuru. That's my command. Unsuru. All the commands in gray. Okay? Unsuru. Okay? Okay, we just have 2 minutes. I want to give you one final example before I leave you with this, inshallah. So there is a fail that is called yaqulu. Yaqulu. He said. Sorry, he says. Yaqulu means he says. Okay? Qala yaqulu. Qala you see quite a lot in the Quran as well. Yaqulu. Okay? Let's try to construct the command for this one. Let's try to construct the command for this one. Okay? And listen to me carefully. This is the last command we'll construct. Then I'll just quickly go through what you need to do as an exercise and then close the class, inshallah, for now. And we do it later on. Okay? Yaqulu. Now, yaqulu is a huwa form, right? What do? First step, make it second person. Taqulu. Taqulu. Okay? There's a sukoon on the waw, right? There's a sukoon on the waw. Taqulu. And after taqulu, I have to make it lightest. I have to make it lightest, so I make it lightest. Taqulu. Okay? And then I go ahead and I remove the ta, right? Then I go ahead and remove the ta. It becomes hulu. Now, can I read it? There's a two sukoon problem. You see the problem here. The ending of this word has two sukoons. Right? The ending of this word has two sukoons. Here's the problem. This red part is a problem. Yeah, you see that? Two sukoon problem. When two sukoons come together, you cannot read it. You cannot read it. In that case, the weaker word, the weaker letter is dropped. The weaker letter is dropped. Wow is a vowel. Wow is a vowel. Wow is a weaker letter here, and you would drop the wow in this case. Okay, you would drop the wow in this case, so this word would become kul. You know this word, kul? Kul hu Allahu ahad. Kul ya ayyuhal kafirun. This is where it comes from. This is where it comes from. It's a present tense command. It's a present tense command, and it is constructed after dropping the vowel. You see the process? Yes, that's how the kul is constructed. Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, qul huwallahu ahad, qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. All of that. This is the kul. This is the kul. It's the huwa, it's the anta form. It's the command for anta. You say. You say. Okay? Qul. You understand? Right. Okay. Excellent. So I think it was a very good class, very productive. I hope you got a chance. We did a lot. We did a lot in this class today, right? From the forbidding and the commanding. I know it's a bit heavy, but it's not difficult, really. It's not really difficult. So it's just that inshallah you get used to it. Just take a fail, take any fail, and try to construct commands and forbiddings out of it. Okay. And what you should be doing is on the page number 51 of your book, of your notes, you have this exercise. You have this exercise, and you have to label what is a command, what is a forbidding, and what is an observation. What is an observation and not a command and not a forbidding. Okay, so you know the difference between an observation and a forbidding. Okay, because forbidding has a lightest form and the observation does not. Command, now you know how commands are constructed. Try to do this exercise. Write C for the command in front, and F for the forbidding, and O for the observation. Okay, and try to translate it. The meanings are given. The first one is done for you. Izhab means to go. It's a command because it does not have a la in front of it, right? It's lightest form and it's command. Therefore, the command would be go, and it's anta masculine. It's anta masculine. Okay, tazhabu. Okay, just do this exercise, and once you've done this exercise, you will be quite familiar with this. And inshallah, after that, we have done this course, and we'll do the Arabs, all of these Arabs. If you want, you can just try to do the Arabs on the next pages yourself, but we'll inshallah touch them in the next class too. Okay, so just do this exercise on page number 51 at least, so you get more comfortable with it. Just one more announcement. I mentioned this last time in the class as well. There's not going to be a class next week on Saturday. On Saturday, there's no class on the 15th because I need to take my son to the doctor, and I don't have any other time, unfortunately, to reorganize the class. What I will do is I will upload another lecture. I will upload another lecture, which is a recorded lecture that I have delivered, just like this. You will not have this possibility to chat. Ultimately, you will have this lecture. It's a lecture I will upload. All you have to do is on Saturday, come on the same time, click on the same button. It will start the lecture. Okay, it will start the lecture, inshallah, and you should be okay. Okay, just follow that lecture, and inshallah, don't miss the class. Just continue the study, do that lecture, and inshallah, when I'm back on Sunday, the classes will resume again on Sunday. You will have the possibility to ask any question if you have from that lecture. Okay, so it is run exactly the same way, but you just don't chat. Okay? That's it, as if you're watching a recording. and that's it. So inshallah, it will be okay. Okay. So I just don't want to waste your time by not being available. So there's a lecture you can listen to, and you can still progress. Okay. So thank you very much, Jazakumullahu khairan, for joining. I will share everything with you. And as you know, we have a shared drive. Everything is on the shared drive. All of the stuff that we have made today, I will put that on the shared drive. So inshallah, do your best. We have covered a lot. Don't give up. And inshallah, I'll see you on next Sunday, 16th. Okay. Thank you very much. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.